Yo, 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 yo.
It's your boy Uchay. I got my boy
QDeezy.
We are the ill-advised wise guys.
Check out the full podcast, link below.
Is radio dead? What? Wait, hold on. What the hell is a radio? Radio?
Yo,
FM?
I don't know.
Yeah, this topic, I know you talked about it. This is kind of your topic. Angela Yee, who just kind of bamboozled people with her tweet talking about Breakfast Club is over as far as we know it. But I did think it was still a big deal. She decided that she's going to move on from the Breakfast Club. She's going to get her own show. Don't worry. I think she's going to be right back in the Breakfast Club in about 2 years. She'll be back.
Wait, you think so?
Yeah.
No way. I don't believe that.
She's coming back. But the Breakfast Club, I feel like, is one of the last real radio shows that the culture cares about. Yeah, we got Steve Harvey show, we got Ricky Smiley show, we have all these shows. But I think the Breakfast Club is always something that's been relevant in the culture, especially these last 2-3 years. So is radio just something that we should just forget about? Wipe it clean from our hands and we just focus on streaming services? Or do you think radio still has a purpose in today's world?
Look, man, well, you asked a couple questions, but I'll start with the last one. Yes, radio will always have a purpose in the world because, and when I say always, I mean that very loosely. I don't really mean that literally because we may legitimately get to a point in society, I could see this, where cars no longer have radios in them. I mean, they took the CD player out of cars. You know what I'm saying? They got Bluetooth connectivity. There may be a day in the near future, I'll say maybe the next 40, 50 years possibly, where even radios are gone. I don't think it'll be immediate. It's going to take a while.
My BMW still has a CD player, and it's 2019.
That's a waste of real estate in that vehicle. That's a problem, right? So my point is this. I think radio will have a purpose for a while. And the reason why I say that is because there's always going to be people who love that nostalgic element. There's always going to be people, your everyday people who work and they commute left and right. Maybe they're on the bus and, you know, they don't have access to other things, right? Whether it's the Spotify's to pay $10 a month, whether it's YouTube Premium, all these different things. So they rely on the free public service that comes their way. So for that reason, radio's going to be here. I don't think it's going anywhere soon. However, this topic is about the impact of radio. Radio, the impact we know has changed completely over the years, especially with the influx of the internet. Internet spawned the whole era of the mixtapes era. It transitioned into you downloading your own music on LimeWire, the Soulja Boy days. Then you got the iPod days, which slowly got people off of the radio again. You know, it made people get in their own way of creating playlists for themselves. Now we're full blown in the streaming era, and we're in the playlisting era, and more in particular. The impact of a radio show, I believe, is like completely gone. That's like a novelty. Like we've entered the dinosauric age. If you think that the radio show will come in, a new radio show, not the Breakfast Club, will come in, make waves on the radio, transition to the internet, and become a mainstay in society. I think that podcasts have completely eliminated that. And furthermore, really what this comes down to is the radio personalities themselves. We all know the Breakfast Club was popping, and they got a name because of how raw and raunchy sometimes the conversations were. Charlemagne, the guy, pushed the envelope, in my opinion. He did a lot of things that he probably would have got canceled for in 2022 back then that made that radio show a big hit. I don't really see a radio personality having that type of impact these days because they're not really pushing the envelope content-wise, conversation-wise. I think that is the real reason. It's because of the limitations of the medium. You got the FCC out here regulating what you can say, things you can't say. You can't even really say sex on the radio. It's a lot of things that you can't do that I think hinder a radio personality and a radio show from being impactful in today's time.
It's funny you say that. It's kind of off topic, but it's kind of in line with the topic. I swear, I went on like a 30-minute, like just Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air funniest moments. and just like watching the show. And I was like, yo, like Will Smith legit was hilarious. Like on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm not downplaying Martin's jokes. Martin's jokes were a lot more like, that's dumb. That's stupid. I say this because as I've gotten older, I think Will Smith's comedy on Fresh Prince has aged better for me than Martin's. Like when I go back and look at Martin now, I'm just like, this is just dumb. Like it's funny. It's dumb funny. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm interested how you're gonna tie this home.
But here's how I'm gonna tie this home. You're gonna think I'm brilliant once I tie it all together.
Okay,
so
we'll see.
What made TV like Martin and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air so great was they knew how to be funny within that FCC guidelines. Like they weren't pushing the limit from curse words. They still looked cool within that FCC guideline. The problem that radio has is they're still trying to be funny. They're still trying to look cool within those FCC guidelines. And a lot of times people kind of overdo it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when I listen to the radio, have you noticed that a lot of the radio heads, they just overdo the cool part, like trying to act cool. Like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, oh man, they tripping, you know, blah 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 blah. But like, they not really. They think they're connecting with the culture, but they're actually looking like an older person that's trying to connect with the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like you said, the FCC guidelines that are placed on radio will not allow you. But at the same time, people got to figure out, back then there was so many musicians, so many actors that knew how to still be a part of the culture, cool with the culture, without pushing guidelines. Like Will Smith was not a dirty. Will Smith, everything Will Smith did was PG-13 at the max. And he was still looked at as cool. He was still looked at like, yo, I want to be like Will Smith. These days, we don't got that anymore. Like what megastar right now can you say puts out PG-13 content? Even Justin Bieber. You know
who does?
Justin Bieber.
You know who does?
Zendaya. It's probably Zendaya. That's it. And Zendaya does Euphoria, which is rated X.
What do you mean? You mean PG content? So like it shows movies and all that?
Is that what you mean? Shows, movies, music. Who do we look at that's like, wow, this person is really, really cool, even though like they're not pushing the limit when it comes to anything. Not everything they're doing is rated R. It's like PG-13. Like
the only people who come to mind, even though they do some rated R stuff, I would say is like The Rock. The Rock to me still has
thinking The Rock.
He still has that
PG-13.
That PG quality, but he can also go out and do some rated R stuff too. But
you know what I'm saying?
people don't look at him like he's too far off from that.
You get what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? That
exactly.
PG-13
I feel like
viewership or whatever.
From a macro level, that's the problem that we have in society right now across the board. Radio, movie, TV is you're not going to pique anybody's interest with PG-13 anymore. And the radio is forced to be PG-13.
I'll say this. While you are 100% right about like the PG-13ness and how people got to be stripped down, that works against the radio, number one. But number two, and more importantly, most people these days no longer care for the format of radio. Okay, you got a show, somebody's talking for 2 minutes, they're giving you an update on traffic, and then they jump into a song, a top 10 list of songs that
they only play like 5 songs.
People don't care about the fluff anymore, right? And they're just like, bro, just give me the music. It's at my fingertips. I can just go listen to it whenever. I don't need you telling me what y'all favorite top songs are because it's irrelevant. To me, it's the format is no longer desirable for people. And I think that's why people don't really favor it anymore.
My God, when the radio was tight, the radio was tight. Like
us growing up, it was like none of
us growing up when the radio 99, 95.5, 93.9, when they were popping.
And you may have never done this, but I know you thought about doing this. How many times you heard the radio back in the day, right? And they're like, hey, make sure to call 1-800-726-K107
to win some free tickets.
to get your free tickets to such and such. You're like, oh, word? But you know how many people faithfully dialed in to try to get tickets. Like I thought, like that essence of radio was dope, and that type of engagement.
Even when people
exactly.
win stuff these days on the radio, they're just like, "Oh, word, oh yeah, yeah, cool."
I like that. I want to know what you guys think out there. So hit us in the comments.
Listen to the full episode. Link below.